How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, August 22nd, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Saturday, August 21st, and of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Starting with the MLB, because that's the only active league going on within the States. Starting in the Bronx, the New York Yankees hosted the Minnesota Twins, and they were able to pull off a 7-1 win at home, thanks to a 5-run fifth inning to help them win their 72nd win of the year. And for the Minnesota Twins in this matchup, the start and the loss were given to Kenta Maeda. He allowed 5 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched. He will go on to strike out 5 batters on the day. With this loss, Maeda is 6-5 on the season. In the Twins batting lineup, nobody was able to finish with more than one hit. Their second baseman, Jorge Polanco, went 1-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 22nd home run of the season. For the New York Yankees, the win went to their elite starting pitcher, Garrett Cole. He allowed no earned runs in 6 innings pitched. He only allowed 5 hits. He struck out 6 batters in that 6-inning stretch, and with this win, he's 12-6 on the year. In the Yankees batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Giancarlo Stanton, went 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their designated hitter, Luke Voit, went 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs. And then their left fielder, Tyler Wade, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the New York Yankees are now 72-52. That is currently the second best record in the American League East, as they've currently won their last 9 games. They are currently tied with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the best winning streak in baseball right now. And they, of course, have won 9 of their last 10 games. They trailed the Tampa Bay Rays by 4 games in the division, and they are currently holding the top American League wildcard spot, sitting 2 games ahead of the second-place Oakland Athletics at the moment. With this loss, the Minnesota Twins are now 54-70. That is the worst record in the American League Central and the 3rd worst record in all of the American League. They've lost their last 3 games and they've lost their last 5. They currently trail the Chicago White Sox by 18 games in the division. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, the reigning American League champs hosted the Chicago White Sox and were able to pull off an 8-4 win at home, scoring 4 of their runs in the first 2 innings of the game. And as the White Sox played catch-up, the Rays just were able to keep them at arm's distance. For the Chicago White Sox in this matchup, the loss went to their elite starting pitcher, Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel allowed 6 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, he's 8-7 on the season for the White Sox. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman and the reigning American League MVP, Jose Abreu, went 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run. For the Tampa Bay Rays, the win went to their starting pitcher, Luis Patino. Patino allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. He only allowed 5 hits. He struck out 5 on the day, and with this win, he's 3-3 on the season. The save would end up going to the Rays closer on the day, Colin McHugh. He allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. He would finish off the 8th and 9th innings. With this save, he now has 1 on the year, and in the Rays batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Wander Franco, would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their second baseman, Brandon Lau, went 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their center fielder, Manuel Margot, went 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. And their third baseman, Joey Wendell, went 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 76-48. That is the best record in the American League East, and that is currently the best record in all of the American League at the moment. They currently are sitting 4 games ahead of the New York Yankees in their division, and they are holding the number 1 seed in the American League playoff picture, sitting ahead of the Astros out west and the Chicago White Sox of the Central. With this loss, the Chicago White Sox are now 72-52. That is the best record in the American League Central. They've lost 5 of their last 10, and they currently sit 10.5 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Indians in their division. They hold the 3rd seed in the American League playoff picture, sitting behind the Houston Astros, and they are also sitting behind the Tampa Bay Rays, who are currently leading the entire league. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago Cubs hosted the Kansas City Royals from one state over. over, and the Royals would beat the Cubs 4-2 after scoring all 4 of their runs before the Cubs scored both of theirs in the bottom of the second. For the Chicago Cubs in this particular matchup, the loss went to their starting pitcher for the day, Keegan Thompson. Keegan Thompson allowed 2 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 1. With this loss, he's 3-3 on the season. In the Cubs batting lineup, nobody on the team Patrick Wisdom would actually finish with the team's only hit. They were only held to 1 hit all day. Wisdom went 1-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run, as his only hit was his 20th home run of the season. For the Kansas City Royals, the start in the win was given to Chris Bubich. Bubich allowed 2 earned runs off of only 1 hit in 6.1 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With this win, he's only 4-6 on the season, and the save would end up going to Scott Barlow. Scott Barlow would allow no earned runs as he pitched the entire 9th inning. He picked up his 8th save of the year. In the Royals batting lineup, their elite second baseman Whit Merrifield went 3-for-5 with 2 runs. Their shortstop Nicky Lopez went 3-for-5 with an RBI. Their left fielder Andrew Benintendi went 2-for-4 with a run for himself. And with this win, the Kansas City Royals are now 54-68. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 5 of their last 10. They currently trail the Chicago White Sox by 17 games in the division. And with this loss, the Chicago Cubs are now 54-71. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 8 of their last 10. They currently trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 21.5 games in the division, just to get a sense of what the Chicago Cubs are doing. Jumping out to Toronto, the Toronto Blue Jays hosted the Detroit Tigers and were able to pull off a 3-0 win, shutting out the Tigers, holding them to only 6 hits as a team. For the Detroit Tigers in this matchup, the loss went to their starting pitcher, Willie Peralta. Peralta allowed 2 earned runs in the first 6 innings of the game as he struck out 2 batters. With this loss, he's now 3-3 on the season. In the Tigers batting lineup, their center fielder, Derek Hill, went 2-for-4 on the day. Also in their batting lineup, their right fielder, Victor Reyes, would go 2-for-3 as they were the only 2 players with more than 1 hit. For the Toronto Blue Jays, however, the win went to their elite starting pitcher, Hyunjin Ryu. He would allow no earned runs in the first 7 innings of the game as he allowed only 5 hits and would strike out 5. With this win, Hyunjin Ryu is 12-6 on the season, and the save was given to the Blue Jays closer, Jordan Romano. Romano allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he allowed only 1 hit, striking out all 3 of the batters he got out. In the batting lineup for Toronto, their all-star second baseman, Marcus Semien, went 3-for-4 with an RBI and a run. Semien hit his 30th home run of the season. And with this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 64-57. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've won 4 of their last 10 games. They trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 10.5 games in the division, and they currently trail the Oakland Athletics by 4.5 games for the second wildcard spot, as they are the 3rd team on the outside looking in, trailing the Boston Red Sox and the Seattle Mariners at the moment. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are now 59-66. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Chicago White Sox by 13.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Dodger Stadium, the Los Angeles Dodgers hosted the New York Mets, and the defending World Series champs were able to pull off a 4-3 win, scoring 3 of their 4 runs in the first 4 innings of the game. For the New York Mets, the loss would go to their starting pitcher, Rich Hill. Hill allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 2. With his loss, he's 6-5 on the year. In the Mets batting lineup, their center fielder, Brandon Nimmo, went 3-for-5 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 4th home run of the season. Their elite first baseman, Pete Alonso, would go 1-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Pete Alonso hit his 28th home run of the season yesterday. And then their shortstop, Jonathan Villar, would end up going 2-for-4. For the defending champs LA Dodgers, the start and win went to their goated starting pitcher Max Scherzer. Scherzer allowed 1 run off of 5 hits in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, Scherzer is 11-4 on the season, and the save would go to the Dodgers' old reliable closer, Kenley Jansen. He allowed no earned runs in the ninth inning as he struck out two batters, and he picked up his 27th save of the year. In the Dodgers' batting lineup, their all-star second baseman Trey Turner went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 19th home run of the season. He was the only player on the team with more than one hit. And with this win, the Los Angeles Dodgers are now 78-46. That is the second best record in the National League West. They have now won their last 9 games. That is tied with the New York Yankees for the best winning streak in all of baseball at the moment. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by a game and a half in the division, just to get a sense of where they are. And they are holding the top National League wild card, sitting 10.5 games over the two-way tie for the second wild card spot between the Cincinnati Reds and the San Diego Padres. With this loss, the New York Mets are now 60-63. That is the third best record in the National League East. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 8 of their last 10. They currently trail the Atlanta Braves by 7 games in the division. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the Washington Nationals, and the Brewers were able to beat the Nats 9-6 just to strengthen their stranglehold on the National League Central. They would score 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th to actually come from behind and win this. It would be, first of all, they would take the lead off of Colton Wong getting hit by a pitch, and then it will be a grand slam from former National League MVP Christian Yelich for the Brewers to jump up to 9 runs, where the Nats just simply couldn't catch them. For the Nationals in this matchup, the start went to Paolo Espino. He allowed 3 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss went to the Nats setup relief pitcher Javi Guerra. Guerra allowed 5 runs, in 0.1 inning pitch as he started out the 8th inning. And with this loss, he's now 0-1 on the season for the Nationals. In the Nats batting lineup, their center fielder Lane Thomas would end up going 2 for 3 with 3 runs. Their shortstop Alcides Escobar would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run for himself. Their elite right fielder Juan Soto went 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. Their catcher Tres Barrera would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI for himself. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start went to Eric Lauer. Lauer allowed 3 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 3 on the day. The win went to the Brewers' 4th relief pitcher, their elite relief pitcher, Devin Williams. Devin Williams would go on to allow no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he pitched the entire 8th inning for Milwaukee. He would strike out 2 batters, and with this win, he's now 7-1 on the season. The save would end up going to their elite closer, Josh Hader. Hader allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out 2. With this save, Hader now has 25 saves on the year. For the Brewers in their batting lineup, their second baseman Colton Wong went 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their elite left fielder Christian Yelich went 3 for 5 with 6 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his 7th and 8th home runs of the season. Their catcher Omar Narvaez went 2 for 4 with an RBI. And with this win, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 75-49. That is the best record in the National League Central. They've won 7 of their last 10 games, and they now hold they are currently sitting 7.5 games ahead of the second place Cincinnati Reds in their division. They are holding the 2nd seed in the National League playoff picture as they currently trail the San Francisco Giants out west, and they sit ahead of the Atlanta Braves out east. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are now 53-69. That is the 4th best record in the National League East. They've lost 7 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Atlanta Braves by 13.5 games in the division, just to get a sense of where the Nats are. Jumping out to the Bay Area for the Bay Area Showdown, the Oakland Athletics hosted the San Francisco Giants in this interleague matchup, and the Giants would beat the Athletics 6-5 after putting on 2 runs in the top of the 9th, thanks to a home run from Lamont Wade Jr. and that would actually cap their comeback from being down 5-2 as early as the bottom of the fourth inning. For the Oakland A's in this matchup, the start went to Sean Manaea. Manaea allowed 2 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The loss would end up going to the A's closer, Lou Trevino. He blew his 3rd save of the season as he allowed 2 earned runs in the 9th inning. He struck out 1 batter. With this loss, he's 5-5 on the season. In the A's batting lineup, their center fielder, Starling Marte would end up going 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. And then their catcher, Sean Murphy, went 2 for 4. For the San Francisco Giants, the start went to Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman allowed 5 runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5. The win will go to the San Francisco Giants setup relief pitcher, Tyler Rogers. He allowed no earned runs as he pitched the entire 8th inning and struck out 2 batters. With this win, he's 4-1 on the year. The save would end up going to Jake McGee as Jake McGee pitched the entirety of the 9th and picked up his 27th save of the year. In the Giants batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was their shortstop, Brandon Crawford. Their elite right fielder, Chris Bryant, went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 22nd home run of the season. And with this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 79-44. That is the best record in the National League West, and that is the best record in all of baseball at the moment. They've won 64% of their games thus far. They've won 7 of their last 10, and they currently sit a game and a half ahead of the second-place defending World Series champs Los Angeles Dodgers in their division. And in the playoff picture, especially among leaders, they are sitting ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Braves as they hold on to the number 1 seed in the National League. With this loss, the Oakland Athletics are now 70-54. That is the second-best record in the American League West. They have now lost 6 of their last 10 games. They trail the Houston Astros by 3.5 games in the division as they currently are holding on to the 2nd seed in the American League playoff wild card picture. They sit 2 games behind the New York Yankees, and they sit half a game ahead of the Boston Red Sox, who are the first team on the outside looking in. Jumping out to Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians hosted the Los Angeles Angels, and in this matchup, the Indians would pull off a 5-1 win at home, and they were also able to put up 13 hits, holding the Angels to only 3 all game. For the Angels, the start and the loss went to Reed Detmers. Reed Detmers would allow 3 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, he's 1-3 on the season. In the Angels batting lineup, nobody on the team finished with more than 1 hit, and that can be attributed to great pitching from the Cleveland Indians. For the Indians, the start and the win went to Tristan McKenzie. McKenzie allowed 1 earned run off of only 2 hits in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 8. With this win, he's 3-5 on the season, and in the Indians batting lineup, their center fielder Miles Straw went 2 for 5 with a run. Their shortstop Ahmed Rosario went 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. He would hit his 7th home run of the season. Their elite third baseman Jose Ramirez went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 29th home run of the season. Their left fielder Oscar Mercado would end up going 2 for 3. And then their first baseman, Owen Miller, would end up going 2 for 4. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are now 60-61. That is the second best record in the American League Central, as they are the second team in the division across the 60-win threshold. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 5 of their last 10. They currently trail the Chicago White Sox by 10.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Los Angeles Angels are now 62-63. That is the 4th best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They currently trail the Houston Astros by 12 games in the division. Jumping out to Houston, speaking of the Astros hosted the Seattle Mariners. They were able to pull off a 15-1 win at home, scoring all 15 of their runs by the end of the 6th inning. For the Mariners in this matchup, the loss would end up going to their starting pitcher, Logan Gilbert. Gilbert allowed 9 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched. He struck out 5 on the day, and with this loss, Logan Gilbert is 5-5 on the year. In the Mariners batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, but their right fielder, Mitch Haniger, would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. His 28th home run of the year would be the only run of the game for the Seattle Mariners. For the Houston Astros, on the other hand, the start and the win went to Jake Odorizzi. He allowed 1 earned run in 5.2 innings pitched off of 4 hits. He struck out 8 batters on the day, and with this win, he's now 6-6 on the season. In the Astros batting lineup, their elite second baseman, Jose Altuve, would end up going 4 for 5 with an RBI and 3 runs. Their right fielder, Michael Brantley, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. Their first baseman, Yuli Gurriel, will go 2 for 5 with 2 runs. Their left fielder, Taylor Jones, would end up going 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and 3 runs as he hit his second home run of the season. And then the Astros third baseman, Jacob Wilson, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. With this win, the Houston Astros are now 73-50. That is the best record in the American League West. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They currently are sitting 3.5 games ahead of the second-place Oakland Athletics in their division. And in the American League playoff picture, they are holding on to the second seed as they trail the Tampa Bay Rays out east, and they are sitting ahead of the Chicago White Sox, who are currently leading the Central. With this loss, the Seattle Mariners are now 66-58. That is the third best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 3 of their last 10 to give a sense of where they are sitting at the moment. And they now sit 7.5 games behind the Houston Astros in the division. They currently trail the Oakland Athletics by 4 games for the second American League wildcard spot. They are the second team on the outside looking in, only trailing the Boston Red Sox in that regard. Jumping out to Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Reds hosted the Miami Marlins, and the Reds were able to pull off a 7-4 win at home after scoring 4 of their 7 in the 6th inning to come from behind and pick up a very big win for the team. For the Miami Marlins, the start would end up being given to Zach Thompson. Thompson allowed 2 earned runs off of 3 hits in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 3 batters. The loss would go to the Marlins' first relief pitcher, Anthony Bedner. Bender allowed 4 earned runs in the 6th inning as he is now 2-2 on the season as a pitcher. In the batting lineup for Miami, the only player with more than 1 hit was their left fielder Jorge Alfaro. Alfaro went 2 for 4 with an RBI. And for the Cincinnati Reds, the start went to Wade Miley. Miley allowed 2 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. The win would go to the Reds' first relief pitcher, Luis Cessa. Cessa allowed no earned runs in 1.1 inning pitch as he finished off the 5th and 6th innings for Cincinnati. The save was given to the Reds' closer, Michael Lorenzen, as Lorenzen allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings pitched. He would finish off the 8th and 9th inning for Cincinnati as he picked up his second save of the year. In the Reds' batting lineup, their center fielder, Tyler Naquin, went 3 for 3 with 3 runs. And then their right fielder, Nick Castellanos, would go 2 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a run as he hit his 22nd home run of the season. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 68-57. That is the second best record in the National League Central as they've won their last 3 games and they've won 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 7.5 games in the division, and they are tied with the San Diego Padres, holding that second wild card spot, sitting 10.5 games behind the Los Angeles Dodgers and sitting 4.5 games ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals, who are now at the moment the first team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are now 51-73. That is the worst record in the National League East as they've lost their last 6 games and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They currently trail the Atlanta Braves by 16.5 games in the division. Just speaking of the Atlanta Braves, the Braves went to Baltimore and were able to beat the Orioles 5-4, picking up their 5th run in the top of the 9th inning as the Orioles picked up their 4th in the bottom of the 9th. For the Orioles in this matchup, the start and the loss would go to Matt Harvey. Harvey allowed 4 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Matt Harvey is 6-13 on the year. In the Orioles batting lineup, their designated hitter, Trey Mancini, went 2 for 4. Their right fielder, Anthony Santander, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs for himself. Santander hit his 11th and 12th home runs of the season. And their second baseman, Ramon Urias, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 7th home run of the year. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and the win went to Drew Smyly. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he went on to allow he allowed 3 home runs, but he struck out 8 batters on the day. With this win, Drew Smyly is 9-3 on the year. The save would end up going to Will Smith. Will Smith would allow 1 earned run in the entire 9th inning as he struck out 1 batter. With this save, he now has 27 on the year. In the Braves batting lineup, their third baseman Austin Riley went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 27th home run of the season. And then their right fielder Jock Peterson went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 15th home run of the year. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are now 67-56. That is the best record in the National League East. They've won their last 8 games, and they've won 9 of their last 10. They sit 5 games ahead of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies in the division, and they are holding on to the 3rd seed in the National League playoff picture, trailing the San Francisco Giants out west and also trailing the Milwaukee Brewers sitting on top of the Central. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 38-84. That is the worst record in the American League East, and the worst record in the American League is they've lost their last 17 games. They now actually hold the worst record in all of baseball, as they've only won 31% of their games. They now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 37 games in the division, just to get a sense of what the gap is in the American League. And jumping out to Fenway within Baltimore's division, the Red Sox hosted the Texas Rangers, and the Rangers would beat the Red Sox 10-1 in Fenway, holding the Red Sox to only 5 hits as the Rangers were able to aggregate 17 hits themselves. For the Boston Red Sox in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Eduardo Rodriguez. Rodriguez would allow 5 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, he's 9-7 on the year. And in the Red Sox batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great pitching from the Rangers. In the Rangers' pitching rotation, the win went to their starting pitcher, Jordan Lyles. Lyles allowed 1 earned run off of 5 hits and 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this win, Jordan Lyles is 6-10 on the season. In the Rangers batting lineup, their third baseman Brock Holt went 2 for 6 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their shortstop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa went 3 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs on the day. Their right fielder Adolis Garcia went 3 for 5 with a run. Their second baseman Nick Solak went 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. And then their left fielder Andy Ibanez would go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Texas Rangers are now 43-80. That is the worst record in the American League West. They've won 3 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Houston Astros by 30 games in the division. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are now 70-55. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They currently trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 6.5 games in the division, and they trail the Oakland Athletics by half a game for that second American League wildcard spot, as let's not forget they were the team that was sitting on top of the American League East for months. Jumping out to St. Louis, the St. Louis Cardinals hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates from within their own division, and the Pirates would beat the Cardinals 5-4 after scoring 3 runs in the top of the 7th, which would put their lead basically out of reach. For the St. Louis Cardinals in this matchup, the start was given to J.A. Happ. He allowed 2 earned runs in 6 innings off of 6 hits as he struck out 8. The loss was given to the Cardinals' first relief pitchers on the day, Genesis Cabrera. Genesis Cabrera would allow 3 earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. He would blow his 2nd save of the year, and with this loss, he's 2-4 on the season. In the Cardinals' batting lineup, their second baseman, Tommy Edman, went 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their left fielder, Tyler O'Neill, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run on the day. And then their shortstop, Edmundo Sosa, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, the start was given to Dylan Peters, as Dylan Peters allowed 1 earned run in the first 5 innings of the game, striking out 3. The win went to the Pirates' second relief pitcher, Chasen Shreve. Shreve allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitch as he struck out 1 to finish out the 6th inning. With this win, he's now 2-1 on the season, and the save was given to the Pirates closer for the day, David Bedner. Bedner allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out a batter. He picked up his first save of the year. In the Pirates batting lineup, their left fielder, Ben Gamel, went 3 for 4 with a run. Their catcher, Jacob Stallings, went 2 for 4. Their first baseman Yoshi Tsutsugo would end up going 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his second home run of the season. And then the Pirates shortstop Kevin Newman would end up going 2-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 4th home run of the year. With this win, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 44-79. That is the worst record in the National League Central and the second worst record in the National League. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 3 of their last 10 games. They currently trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 30.5 games in the division. With this loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 62-60. That is the 3rd best record in the National League Central. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They currently trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 12 games in the division, just to get a sense of where they are. And they trail the San Diego Padres and the Cincinnati Reds by 4.5 games in the National League wild card race, as the Cardinals are the first team on the outside looking in at this very moment. Jumping out to Denver, the site of the 2021 MLB All-Star Game, the Colorado Rockies would host the Diamondbacks and pull off a 5-2 comeback win. After the Diamondbacks scored the first 2 runs of the game in the 5th inning, the Rockies would tie it up at the bottom of the 8th with a 2-run home run from Garrett Hampson, and then it would be an Elias Diaz home run in the bottom of the 9th, a 3-run home run, in fact, to give the Rockies the walk-off win they needed to get the 57th win of the year. For the Arizona Diamondbacks in this matchup, the start was given to their elite starting pitcher, Zach Gallen. Gallen allowed no earned runs off of 3 hits in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 9. The loss was given to the Arizona Diamondbacks closer for the day, J.B. Wendelken. He allowed 3 earned runs in .2 innings pitched as he was unable to finish out the 9th. He struck out the 2 batters he did get out, though. With this loss, he's now 2-2 on the season. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, their center fielder Ketel Marte went 3-for-4 with an RBI. Additionally, their left fielder Dalton Varsho went 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 7th home run of the season. For the Colorado Rockies, the start was given to Kyle Freeland. He allowed 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched off of 6 hits. He would strike out 10 batters. The win, however, was given to the Rockies closer, Daniel Bard. Daniel Bard allowed no earned runs, and he only allowed 1 hit in the entire 9th inning. With this win, he's 7-5 on the season, and in the Rockies batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Charlie Blackmon, went 3-for-4 with an RBI. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 57-66. That is the 4th best record in the National League West. They've won their last 5 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They currently trail the San Francisco Giants by 22 games in the division. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 41-83. That is the worst record in the National League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They currently trail the San Francisco Giants by 38.5 games, just to get a sense of what the gap is between the worst and best teams in the National League. And last but not least, the San Diego Padres hosted the Philadelphia Phillies, as both of these teams are vying for that second wild card spot, because it looks as though that first wild card spot may be out of reach. The Padres were able to beat the Phillies 3-4 after, first of all, coming back to send the game into extra innings. Going into the bottom of the 9th, they were trailing 3-1. It would be a 2-run home run from Jake Cronenworth to send the Padres into extra innings. And then after Connor Brogdon threw a wild pitch, Adam Frazier would score for the San Diego Padres and give them their 68th win to walk off the game. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the start was given to Aaron Nola. Nola allowed 3 runs off of 2 hits in 8.2 innings pitched as he struck out 11. The loss would end up going to the Philadelphia Phillies closer, Connor Brogdon, as Brogdon he only got 1 out in the top of the 10th. Or in the bottom of the 10th. With this loss, he's now 5-3 on the season as a pitcher. In the Phillies batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Bryce Harper, was the only player with more than 1 hit. He went 2-for-3 on the day. And for the San Diego Padres, the start was given to Joe Musgrove. He allowed 1 earned run off of 3 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 9. The win went to the Padres closer, Mark Melancon. He allowed no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he would pitch the entire 9th and 10th innings. He would strike out 1 batter and he would walk 2, but with his win, he's now 3-2 on the season. In the Padres batting lineup, no one on the team would finish with more than one hit. Their shortstop, Jake Cronenworth, went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 19th home run of the year. With this win, the San Diego Padres are now 68-57. That is the third best record in the National League West. They have now won 2 of their last 10 games as they now trail the San Francisco Giants by 12 games in the division. And they are currently tied with the Cincinnati Reds for the second wildcard spot, trailing the LA Dodgers by 10.5 games for that first spot. And they sit 4.5 games ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals, who are at the moment the first team on the outside looking in. That is what the MLB looks like following yesterday's matchups, and looking forward to what's going on today, because today is Sunday. Today is more of a travel day. Starting at 1:05, John Means and the Baltimore Orioles are going to host Touki Toussaint and the Atlanta Braves. John Means is holding a 5-5 record and a 3.44 ERA. At 1:07, Steven Matz and the Toronto Blue Jays are going to host Drew Hutchison in the Detroit Tigers. At 1:10 on TBS, Chris Archer and the Tampa Bay Rays are going to host Reynaldo Lopez in the Chicago White Sox. At the same time, at 1:10, Vladimir Gutierrez and the Cincinnati Reds are going to host Sandy Alcantara and the Miami Marlins. Alcantara enters this matchup with a 7-11 record, holding a 3.39 ERA. Vladimir Gutierrez takes the mound at home with an 8-4 record, holding a 3.87 ERA. At 1:10, Nathan Eovaldi and the Boston Red Sox are going to host Colby Allard and the Texas Rangers. Nathan Eovaldi takes the Fenway mound, holding a 10-8 record, with a 3.91 ERA thus far in the season. At 2:10, Framber Valdez and the Houston Astros are going to host Tyler Anderson and the Seattle Mariners. Framber Valdez enters his matchup with an 8-4 record, holding a 3.16 ERA. Also at 2:10, Adrian Hauser and the Milwaukee Brewers are going to host Sean Nolan in the Washington Nationals. Adrian Hauser enters his matchup with a 7-5 record, holding a 3.55 ERA. At 2:15, Adam Wainwright and the St. Louis Cardinals are going to host Stephen Brault and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Wainwright enters his matchup with an 11-7 record, holding a 3.26 ERA. At 2:20, Alec Mills and the Chicago Cubs are going to host Carlos Hernandez and the Kansas City Royals. At 3:10, John Gray and the Colorado Rockies are going to host Taylor Widener and the Arizona Diamondbacks. John Gray takes the Coors Field mound, holding a 7-9 record and a 3.93 ERA. At 3:40, Craig Stammen and the San Diego Padres are going to host Kyle Gibson and the Philadelphia Phillies. Craig Stammen takes the mound with a 5-3 record, holding a 3.16 ERA. For a Padres team that is currently fighting to hold its wild card positioning. At 4:07, Frankie Montas and the Oakland Athletics are going to host Logan Webb and the San Francisco Giants. Logan Webb enters his matchup with a 7-3 record, holding a 2.92 ERA. For the best team in the National League, as they look to be the first team in the MLB to cross the 80-win threshold. At 4:10 on ESPN+, David Price and the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to host Marcus Stroman and the New York Mets. Marcus Stroman enters his matchup with an 8-12 record, holding a 2.84 ERA. David Price, the former American League Cy Young winner, enters his matchup with a 4-1 record, holding a 3.62 ERA. At 7 o'clock on ESPN, Cal Quantrill and the Cleveland Indians are going to host Jose Suarez and the Los Angeles Angels. Suarez enters his matchup with a 5-6 record, holding a 3.88 ERA. And Cal Quantrill enters his matchup with a 3-2 record, holding a 3.24 ERA, just to get a sense of what both these teams are working with at the moment. And those are the games that are going on for today. Taking a quick look at what's going on outside of the continent, looking at what's been going on with soccer, starting off in the Premier League. Liverpool was able to beat Burnley 2-0. Their first goal will come in the 18th minute from Diego Jota. And then it will come off an assist from Sadio Mane, and then their second goal will come in the 69th minute from their elite winger, Sadio Mane. And with this win, Liverpool is one of the few teams in the Premier League that actually has won their first 2 matchups. So they and Brighton and Hove Albion right now are the only two teams sitting at the very top of the table right now with 6 points, just to give a sense of where they are. And Manchester City was able to beat Norwich City 5-0 after they lost their first matchup. They were able to bounce back right here. Their first goal would be an own goal off Norwich City. Their second goal will come from Jack Grealish, the English forward who was on the national team. They would get a goal in the 64th minute from Laporte. They would get their fourth goal from their elite English forward Raheem Sterling in the 71st minute, and then it would be Riyad Mahrez in the 84th minute to give Manchester City the 5-0 win. And at the moment, they are holding on to the 5th spot in the table as they are now tied with 7 other teams with 3 points in the table at the moment. That will change, but that right now is where Manchester City sits. Looking out at La Liga from yesterday, looking at the big matchup, Barcelona face off against Athletic Bilbao. Bilbao would score the first goal of the game from Martinez in the 50th minute, and then Barcelona's only goal will come from Memphis Depay in the 75th minute. And following this draw, especially in La Liga, Barcelona right now is sitting with the number 1 spot as there are 3 teams that have played 2 matches that have won and drawn their first 2 matchups. So right now they are tied with Mallorca and Valencia. Valencia was able to draw yesterday, and Mallorca was able to beat Alaves. So just to give a sense of where Barcelona sits in the table at the moment. Looking at the Bundesliga, Borussia Dortmund fell short of SC Freiburg 2-1. Borussia Dortmund's only goal will come off of an own goal. So Freiburg actually did score all 3 of the goals. So with this loss, just looking at what the Bundesliga is looking like, Dortmund right now is tied for the 4th most points in the table with 3. And off of goal differential, they're currently sitting 6th in the Bundesliga table at the moment, just to get a sense of where the Bundesliga is at the moment. And then looking at Serie A, Inter Milan, the reigning Serie A champs, were able to beat Genoa 4-0, as Dzeko was able to get the 87th minute goal to finish it all off. And also they were able to get a goal from Arturo Vidal. With this Inter win, they now sit on top of the Serie A as they are one of 4 teams. Inter, Lazio, Sassuolo, and Atalanta were able to get wins yesterday, just to give a sense of what that league is looking like. And Lille, the reigning Ligue 1 champs, were able to draw with Saint Etienne, just to give a sense of where they sit right now. Lille is sitting 14th in the table as they have drawn 2 games and they've lost 1. They have not won any of their first 3 games, just to get a sense of where they are starting the season. Looking forward to what's going on today, starting off with the Prem. Manchester United is going to face off against Southampton at 9:00. Man U actually won their first game, so a win here is a chance for them to get a chance to at least get a spot for a tie at the top of the table. Tottenham Hotspur faces off against Wolverhampton. Tottenham won their first game, so a win here is a chance at the top of the table for them as well. Arsenal's facing off against Chelsea. Chelsea won their first game, so a win for Chelsea could put Chelsea at the top of the table. And Arsenal did not win their first game, so a win for Arsenal could actually do a lot for them. Looking out at what's going on at La Liga, Atletico Madrid is going to face off against Elche at 1:30. Atletico Madrid they won their first game, so a win here could potentially put them at the top of La Liga immediately. Real Madrid's going to face off against Levante. Real Madrid won their first game too, so this is a chance for Real Madrid to take the top of the table. In the German Bundesliga, the Bayern Munich is going to face off against Cologne at 11:30. Bayern Munich drew their first matchup. A win here could tie them for the second best record behind Wolfsburg. In the Italian Serie A, Juventus is going to face off against Udinese. Juventus actually they have not played a game yet, but a win here could at least tie them with the other Serie A teams that have already won. And that's just really a look into what's going on in the world of soccer, and that's the world of sports. from yesterday, Saturday, August 21st, 2021. And once again, today is Sunday, August 22nd, 2021. Out here in this quarantine, I'm James Sims. I want to first thank the MLB and the FIFA websites and, of course, ESPN for giving me the facts and figures that I needed in order to complete this episode. I hope all is well. I want to apologize for any names that I butchered through the show. I do promise that, if I do hear a different pronunciation, I will try to correct it in due time. But with that said, I also want to thank everyone for listening to all 44 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well. And like I said, once all of today's matchups and exhibitions are done, I will come back tomorrow on Monday, August 23rd for another episode. So until then, I will catch you then. I'll catch you then. Thanks for listening to my piece. I hope all is well, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.